Hiya, so today I'm going to show you the Cadence Crackle effect, and the one I'm using is the Crocodile Crackle. This is a two-step project, so you get two tubes of paint in this one. You get your step 1 and step 2, and it's very important to know which one's first and how to apply them to get the best effect with the paint. So if I open the box, you can see here we've got step 1, and step 2 is very similar, and it's also a very similar consistency as well, so always make sure you're making sure you know which one you're using. So step 1, it comes like a very thick white paint, and what I'm going to do is apply a very decent amount to my card, and I'm going to use a flat brush for this. It is the best way to do it, is you get a nice even coverage. You could stipple it with a sponge, but it may affect your crackle effect in the end. So using a flat brush will give you a nice even coverage to the card. And you can see it's covering really nicely, and you can use this on pot, you could use it on fabric to make a paint bag, you could make utensils with this, canvas, it will cover all of those surfaces. And if you are using it on an exterior surface like a plant pot, you could then add a layer of varnish over the top to give it that extra waterproof cover. So you can see there I've added a nice thick coverage, and you do want a thick coverage of this. Some paints you may only want a slightly thin cover, but the thicker the cover on this, the more depth to the crackle we'll get. So here I've applied step 1, and you're going to want to leave this to dry for about an hour until it is slightly tacky, but you can tell that the paint will not move anymore. So going on to wood, you can see on here I've applied step 1 all over this, and I've given it an hour to dry, and I did actually pop this out in the sun as it did give me a little bit of a quicker drying time, and the UV rays from the sun will help with the crackle effect. So using my step 2, I'm going to apply this straight onto my product again, all over, and again we want a thick base with this. So I'm using the same brush I've used for step 1, and I'm going to apply a nice thick coverage all over, and again the thicker the cover with this, the more intensity of the crackle that we'll get. And as you can see on the first one, when I applied step 1, I did it onto black card, and the advantage of doing that is that the cracks that come through will be the black card that I used. So I'm going to leave that one to dry as well, and I'll come back to you and show you the effect that it has given after an hour's drying time. So what I've got here for you is the two samples that I just prepped with the step 1 and the step 2, and I've left them to dry a full good hour in the sun. This has meant that the crackle's got all them UV rays that's soaked into it and given us a really nice crackle effect. So my first one here that I did on the black card, you can see I've got a really nice intensity of all the crackle in there, and the step 2 has remained white, so you could colour that afterwards. You could apply paint over this, you could apply wax to rub into it to enhance some of the cracked areas, but how nice would that look if you do this onto leather, or if you would do it onto plastic or fabric to create a bag or a wallet? It would be an amazing effect. And as you can see with the wooden one here, as my crackle appeared, it was very faint as the background was a pale shade of wood. So what I've done is I've got some black wax and rubbed it all around, and that wax has settled in all the little cracks that have appeared, and it's highlighted it, giving a really nice rustic aged look. So that is the Cadence Crackle effect. Thank you for watching.